Hey everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to come speak to you today. I cannot tell you how happy I am to be here, mainly because I think something that we all noticed during the 2020 election cycle is that the radical left was indeed targeting Christians. And they were trying to make pastors especially quiet and afraid to use their voices to speak out against some of their radical anti-God agenda, to include pushing abortions, accepting things that don't align with our Christian and Judeo-Christian values. And I thought, you know, for me, especially running in the election cycle, not only am I gonna own my values, right? I'm pro-life, I'm pro-God, I'm pro-gun, and I'm anti-socialist. But I'm gonna, thank you. But I'm gonna own the fact that I'm a Christian first and foremost. And I can tell you that my entire life, the reason why I actually decided to get involved in politics is because I felt like probably so many of you here, definitely probably Aaron, I felt called to follow a path and to stand up for what's right in this country. Many of you may not know this, but starting out early in life, my mom actually was asked by my own father to have an abortion. And my mom told him no. And so as a result of that, for a very long time, it was just me and my mom. My father struggled with a very severe drug addiction. My own grandmother actually died of AIDS due to heroin use. And by the time I actually was 9 years old, I had already been involved in an armed robbery and survived it. By the time I was graduated from high school, I had attended 6 high schools. We did move around, one of which there was actually a gang shooting on campus. And so my way out of it was joining the military, which happened to be one of the best things that I could have ever done for myself. Thank you. It's also where I later on met my amazing husband, Andy, who I've now been married to for about 11 years. But how God worked in my life was very unique. And sometimes when we are all struggling through very hard times in our lives, we don't understand what the bigger picture is and how God is using us to make a change. In 2014, my husband was shot in Afghanistan. He did obviously recover, thank God. But it was because he was shot in Afghanistan that I started working alongside various veteran nonprofits to help shed light on the topic of post-traumatic stress disorder. And one of these nonprofits I came across was called Veterans for Child Rescue. And they were working with an organization called Our Rescue. And they were talking about something that I had no idea was a problem with in the United States of America, and that was human trafficking. They were talking about specifically child trafficking, and how at the southern border there was a huge problem with it. So I decided to use my social media. Mind you, I was actually on track to go to medical school and I had a gap year, so I'm using my social media to shed light on this topic. And in around January of 2016, I actually was watching the news, and I think like most Americans, I didn't think that the media would lie to push an agenda. And I was listening to CNN. And on CNN, they were covering a train that had been stopped in Mexico City. And on this train, there was women and children, and there was MS-13. And that's why the train had been stopped. And they were making it political. They said, we here at CNN believe that everyone deserves fair access to this country. And they actually raised money, brought these people to the American border, sent their camera crews down there to film Border Patrol turning these people away. They weren't talking about the 18,000 women annually who are trafficked. They weren't talking about the women and children. They weren't talking about the fact that the United States is one of the top 3 countries in the world for human trafficking. And that is not a conspiracy theory. That's from the State Department. So I decided to use my voice. And I made a video and I said, look, I'm Hispanic American. Like, part of my family actually immigrated. I'm 2nd generation. But I'm not xenophobic because I believe in border security. In fact, I'm a Christian. This is a humanitarian thing to do. And because I made that video, yes, I was met with hate. I was called some of the worst racist names you could think of. I was made fun of because of the fact that I'm lighter skinned. They said that I was actually whitewashed, that I was too white to be Hispanic. They even called me a coconut, which I have a little bit of a sense of personality. So I said I'm more like a vanilla wafer, and they didn't like that. But the point is that when you are standing up for what's right, you will always be met with hate. You will always be met with controversy. You will always be smeared, and you will always be, honestly, attacked because you are standing up for what your moral conviction is, which does inherently tie to you being Christians and to your belief in God. So the day before I was supposed to go to medical school on August 18th, I actually got a phone call from Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA. He said, Anna, he said, you might not know me. My name's Charlie Kirk. I run this organization called Turning Point USA. And I would like to offer you the position of a National Hispanic Outreach Director. We're working alongside with this woman by the name of Candace Owens. And she's handling urban engagement, and we would like you to do Hispanic engagement. And so I said, all right. I had about 24 hours to decide. And the only thing that I could think of was, God, why me, for one? That's a huge tasking. But also, I didn't want to end up like Jonah and the whale. Seriously. I did not want to go to medical school and then for whatever reason be brought back here to the United States, because I felt that this was now my path. I was being met at a fork in the road, and my path was, do I pursue politics to help people, or do I do it through medicine? So I talked to my husband, thank you. I talked to my husband, and ultimately what ended up happening is I chose politics because one of my mentors told me, and he's a neurosurgeon, he said, Anna, you through legislation can impact so many people's lives, more so than you probably could your entire lifetime as a physician. Thank you. And if it doesn't work out, I'll help you get into a school here in Florida. Not a bad plan B. So I took that opportunity, and it was very quickly that I learned that the media would only let me talk about what they wanted me to talk about. But no matter what, they were talking about what the legislators were doing in Washington, D.C., even if they didn't agree with them. So if I wanted to truly make change, if I wanted to truly help the issues of human trafficking, if I wanted to truly help fight back against this radical agenda that was attacking Christians, if I wanted to truly help fight against abortion, I had to go to Washington, D.C. to do it. So I called my husband, and he is a trooper. He's actually back here right now watching me talk. Thank you, Andy. And I said, baby, we're gonna be running for Congress. And he goes, what do you mean we? So it's been quite the road, and I can gladly say that I am running for Congress in Florida's 13th congressional district. That there is nothing in this world that can intimidate me or bully me or make me back down from holding my Christian values first and foremost. That, again, I am unapologetically pro-life, pro-God, pro-gun, and anti-socialist. That I will back President Trump running for office in 2024 because he will. And that at the end of the day, you all need to use your stories, because your stories can make a difference. And when given the opportunity, I was talking to my husband, the choice between choosing courage or choosing fear, realize that fear is a reaction and courage is a choice to move forward, fight for what is right, and help take back this country. Thank you.